Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Really great to see you all again. Thank you so much for all the support. Thank you for the lovely comments. Without too much of a further ado, let's crack on with the subject at hand, and that's the Carnifex. Are we actually painted the Carnifex yet? Oh, we're so close. There's just a couple more topics I want to cover. One is painting stonework, just so that you can get the rubble and things and get a feel for how to make a tidy job of that. And the other is painting wooden things like wood. So we'll cover a quick video on each of those, and then it will, I promise you, be onto the Carnifex and actually painting exoskeleton, claws, talons, all those type of things, all the more exciting stuff. So let's get over to the table and start some work. Well, here we are again, and as you can see, I've moved on from doing just one Carnifex. We're now at two. So here's the original guy that we did. And if we take a closer look at the base, the one problem we've got on this base is that there aren't any real large stones to paint. And the rock work I wanted to keep in keeping with the base, so nothing to do on this one. So we've painted up our second Carnifex's base in exactly the same style, but the thing we have on this base is there's a great big rock here, and on the back end there's a great big rock here, so we've got something to paint. So let's crack on with those two. The first colour we're going to go for is London Grey by Vallejo, and we'll just pop that on our palette. And we're going to go for a flat-edged brush, not too big. This is a size 8. And we'll just pop that in there. Now we want reasonable coverage with the first colour, so we will dab off a bit of the excess so it's not just really wet and it's just going to apply colour all over. Okay, and then it's just stroking across to catch the texture, leaving black behind. We're not going to go whole hog and get the whole of the stone grey, but just, you can see they're lovely. It's just picking up the texture just under the edge, just to catch the edges there. Now, if you're wondering about how we painted the miniature to get this far, that's in the previous video. That's in video number 4. But we've moved on to this one now, and we're moving on to nearly finishing the base itself. And you can see that how just striking across the stone just catches all of the highlights, and just gives you some lovely relief work to start you off. We haven't quite finished yet. Just work the colour in a little bit until you're happy, but just the brush is quite dry, and this is definitely more of a dry brush technique than the wet brush we were doing before. But as you can see, it gives you a lovely stone effect. And so on to the next colour, which is going to be Vallejo's light grey. So what we're going to do is we're just going to, ooh, a bit watery. Maybe I should give that a good shake beforehand, but there you go. I think I may have to do that. It's very watery. So we'll just give that a good shake. There we go, that's better. And then again onto our cloth, just to get rid of some of the excess so we don't end up with too heavy a layer. And then over the top of what we've already done, but a little bit lighter brushwork. And if you think when you pop it on that, like that one was a little bit heavy in colour, then all you do is you just dab your brush, get it a little bit less saturated. And we're now aiming for slightly higher highlights and keeping the higher tones towards the edges of the stonework, so that it does give it some depth. So if you look as I do this piece here, we'll stick to sort of doing it over this side of the stone just catch little bits where the light might come through. But as you can see, it's giving you some extra relief, but we haven't done yet. So now we're going to go on to give it a good shake. Vallejo white. Now I'm going to leave the grey on the brush from the light grey, and I'm also going to introduce the white to the grey. White on its own is often quite a potent colour. I don't really want to go that strong, but we do obviously want a premium highlight where we're getting the most light texture, and we really do want to take off the excess at this point. Go back into the white, take off the excess again, just to make sure we've got a reasonable tone on that grey that we've already got on the brush. And then this edge here is going to receive a lot of light, so I'm just at the edge here. Okay. So I think that's quite nice. And then we're going to do exactly the same on this rock on the rear. So we're just going to catch the edge. Not much paint on the brush at all at this point. And you can see that we've left the inside work darker. And then I'm just going to go in once more with the white, because as we're painting these coats quite close together, there will be some settling of the colours, and you want to go just a tiny little bit brighter than you really want the colour, because as they do settle, they will tone down. And depending on how long you left that black base coat to dry, that may even leach through as well. But this has been cured now at least a week. So, and that really is stonework, but we haven't quite done. We haven't quite done because stone has life, and we want to give it some life. One of my favourite colours for creating a bit of life on stonework is dark green, and that's US dark green by Vallejo. Absolutely beautiful colour, this. We'll go straight onto the paper because we don't really want a lot of saturation of the brush. I've just washed the brush, so there's no grey on there now. And we're going to sort of stipple. If you look, I've already started work on the rock work that's already on there. So on the front face of the rock, it's nice and clear, but on the rear and lower sides, underneath anything, there's a little bit of greenery growing where the plant's life can get a little bit of shade. So we want to carry that theme through, so the plant life is going to be sort of on this back edge of the stone. So we just give it a little bit of green on there. Look at the other stone over here, and just again on this bottom side here and onto the ground around it, because it wouldn't just be that the greenery would be just staying on the rock. And then we'll get a little bit of Vallejo's yellow green. This is a pretty amazing colour as well, actually, at the danger of being repetitive. Lovely vibrant colour, this. So we'll just get some of that and dab it in, get some of that and dab it in until we get a sort of fairly bright colour, and then let's wipe off the excess. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that now. So there's little bits of dark green on the brush, there's little bits of light green on the brush, and so just going over a bit mild work. Just taking it onto the rock, a little bit onto the edge here, and then where did we go? On here, on this edge here, wasn't it? And onto the ground around it, just bringing that colour out. I can just see over here where the tones have desaturated a little bit, so I'm just going to retouch those up. Try and keep them in keeping with the tones that are elsewhere on the base. Okay. Right, and then what I'll do is I'll re-black up the bits I've touched, like bits on this log here, and in the next video we'll go over doing the woodwork. So I've left this sounds a bit wrong, I've left a huge log on the back of the model. We'll try and get that painted. Okay, so yeah, quite happy with that. So, oh my god, how easy was that? Just layering it up gives it that bit more realism, and then adding on the greenery just makes it look even more realistic. So, hope you like the technique, hope you're going to use that yourselves if you're not already. Thank you so much for watching the channel, and are we painting minis yet? Oh, it's getting so close! I'll catch you in the next one.